Cricket 365 is proudly supported by Airport Development Group, committed to aviation, tourism and infrastructure in the Northern Territory. Charles Darwin University. Connect, discover and grow in the Northern Territory. Tourism NT. Different in every sense. Thrifty Car and Van Rental, proudly driving Cricket 365. And Duke Cricket Balls. Iconic, handmade and good for cricket.
Well, a very good afternoon from Kazali's Arena in Palmerston, just a bit south of Darwin, Australia, for match number 16 of the top end T20 series driven by NT Tourism. Facing up this afternoon are the Melbourne Renegades and Tasmanian Tigers. My name is Alex Tracy and I will be with you for today's match. I'd like to start this broadcast by acknowledging the Larrakia people, the traditional owners of the land we're on, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I would also like to extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people watching this broadcast. It is a privilege to play the game we love on Larrakia land.
We're in the middle of Kazali's Arena for match 17 of the 2024 Top End T20 series. Our umpires Imran Mohammed, John Ganane, captain of the Melbourne Renegades Will Sutherland, and captain of the Tassie Tigers Gabe Bell. Will, you've got the coin, if you wouldn't mind throwing that one up. Heads is the call from Gabe. It's a head.
We'll have a bat, please.
Gabe, you can have a bat. Yes. Good stuff. Thank you, Gabe. You've chosen to bat first. What's your reasoning behind that one?
Looked like it was a sort of tiring wicket, so we thought runs on the board and try and defend later on today.
A few days in Darwin now for the lads. How are you feeling? How are you enjoying the Darwin hospitality?
We're loving it, yeah. Nice change up from Hobart, especially with the weather, so it's great to be outdoors and getting some good cricket in.
Awesome, mate. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Will, bowling first. What would you have done, mate?
We would have liked to bat first as well, as Gabe said. So a bit of a tiring wicket as well. So, I mean, hopefully it holds itself together in the arvo and we can chase down a score.
Fellas feeling okay after a match this morning?
Yeah, boys are good. Just ducked down to the food court, a few boost juices, bit of sushi. So, yeah, boys are ready to go again.
Awesome, mate. Good luck today.
Cheers, Geordie. Thank you.
That's the news from the middle of Kazali's Arena. Tassie Tigers have won the toss and will bat first.
Welcome to the waterfront. There are a million reasons to come. Where the water meets the land, a place to connect, enjoy and relax. Open every day, 7 seasons a year. Plan your next visit to Darwin's tropical resort today at waterfront.nt.gov.au.
Welcome back to Kazali's Arena. We're here for match number 16 of the 2024 Top End T20 series. The Tasmanian Tigers have won the toss, as you've seen, elected to bat first as we look at the team. Prestwidge, Ward, Radhakrishnan, Wakeham, Doran, Davis. Doran and Davis have been in good form this series so far. Zach Curtin, Raf McMillan, the spinner, he's another one who's in good form. Kieran Elliott, the fast bowler, Gabe Bell and Lachlan Clark. It's a in-form bowling unit, that's for sure, but it's just been the batting that has occasionally let the Tigers down. Tigers and Renegades, this is, as we have a look at the Renegades team, similar to the team that played this morning. McDonald, Dixon, Harvey, Harris, captain Will Sutherland, wicketkeeper Jai Lemire, Xavier Crone, Fergus O'Neill, Matt Hennig, and the pair of leg spinners who are doing quite well, Callum Stowe and Tom Brooks. Yes, both teams have played 4 times in this tournament so far. They both got the same record, 2 wins, 2 losses. This shapes up as a crucial encounter for both of them and their hopes of playing in the finals of this magnificent tournament. Those 2 semi-finals and the decider will all be played on Sunday. And just tucking it into the leg side for a couple to start. That's good placement from Ward. He's been floating around the batting order a little bit throughout the Tigers campaign. We know he's a class performer, good domestic performer. And that just gets trapped by the batsman. Probably made his name a bit more in the longest format has Ward. He's opening with Will Prestwidge, the all-rounder. Prestwidge is having a good tournament so far, gotten key wickets and contributed a couple of good innings with the Willow. It's been very good competition so far. The ACT are actually topping the ladder currently, albeit that they've only played 2 games at this stage. As we just see something a bit funky from Ward there, looking to access behind the wicket. Good start from O'Neill. Oh, and that's just a single into the covers. 3 off the over so far. The Renegades, of course, played game 1 of today's doubleheader at Kazali's Arena earlier this morning. They went down by 14 runs against the Perth Scorchers. Scorchers able to notch up their first victory of the campaign, as that one's just squirted down to deep third for a single. 4 off the first over. Nice tidy start for O'Neill. And Xavier Crone, the Renegades fast bowler, to share the new ball with O'Neill. He's had a good campaign so far, has Crone. Oh, and what has that come off? I'll run a single. I'll just wait for the umpire's call here. Looks like now, what's that come off of? Good short ball from Crone. They mightn't have actually crossed for a run after all. left-hand batsman Prestwidge. Just a dot ball, pair of dots to start the over. Tidy bowling from Crone. He's gotten a reasonable swag of wickets in the tournament so far. They're a good bowling unit is the Renegades. O'Neill's also been among the wickets. So we just see a flash outside off. Tigers need to get off to a better start than they have previously. They've lost top order wickets at inconvenient times, as we just see a leg side wide. It's been left a lot to the middle order and lower middle order. Jake Doran, the wicketkeeper, who's captained some of the Tigers games so far this series. He's performed a lot of rescue work from that sort of number 5, number 6 position. Pulled into the leg side. There's cover out there. Of course, we're in the power play, so only 2 fielders allowed outside the ring. They're both patrolling the leg side boundary. This is a good tight over from Crone. You don't need to get a massive score here at Kazali's Arena when batting first, as we saw earlier this morning. It's quite a good pitch for the bowlers. 160 here is very competitive. So we just see into the body of Tim Ward. That shot there probably just tells you a little bit about this pitch. Is there's a certain it's too paced in a sense. We've seen quite a lot of attempted pulls and hooks and cross-bat shots get popped up into the air because batsman's just not quite gotten their timing right, and that's a nice deft late cut through to deep third. That's to the boundary, first boundary of the innings. That'll help the Tigers. They were just going a little slow there, but the score is none for 10. And O'Neill, first ball of his second over. Batsman's gone for a big expansive shot. O'Neill just too good for him. That's the classic fast bowler's motto. Aim at the top of the stumps. If you miss, I hit. And O'Neill, he's hit. Advances early. Probably gives himself a bit too much room. Meant he was so far away from the pitch of the ball that even if he had have hit it, I hazard it would have just popped straight up in the air because nowhere near the pitch of the ball, and Prestwidge goes for 2. That's just what I was talking about. The Tigers just haven't been able to get off to good starts. They've stayed competitive in all their games, but they just haven't been able to get off to good starts, and it's happened here again with an early wicket, bringing to the crease the all-rounder Radhakrishnan. Hasn't been hugely among the runs in the tournament so far, but has picked up handy wickets in the bowling function of his all-round status, and he just, a little deflection for a single. Yeah, the Tigers, they have a really good bowling unit. It's just, and they've tried a few different combinations in their order. They've shuffled the batsmen up and down just to give them experience performing different roles for the team, but just haven't been able to get off to fluent starts, and frequently been one or two down for not many, as see a leg side wide bowled by O'Neill. O'Neill, he's a proven domestic performer. Got a good, easy action. It's probably not express pace, but he's quick enough. Kazales is a ground where you really need to, as a batting pair, be alert to the quick singles, run the first one hard, try and convert into twos, because the outfield is a little on the slow side. I saw some really good six hitting at various times in the first game here at Kazales Arena earlier this morning, but neither team was really able to consistently find the boundary. As we see a really nice straight drive, I take that to the bank, because that's 4 any day of the week. Doesn't matter what the outfield's doing. That was an attractive shot from Ward. Beautiful swing of the bat. Held his shape really nicely. He's looked good so far, has Ward, as he just has a slash at one outside off. Score progresses to 1 for 18 off 3. Successful O'Neill over. 3 overs down, 1 to come in the power play. Going to be Crone to see out the power play. What can he do here? Starts with the leg side wide. Expect to possibly see spin next over once the power play finishes. Renegades have a couple of good leggies in their attack. Tom Brooks and Callum Stowe have both been in good form this series, as quick single to gully, good running, good early call. Renegades also have the services of Harry Dixon, all-rounder, bowls some nifty off-spin. So it's a good bowling attack being fielded by the Renegades. Oh, confusion. Better throw. Could have been interesting. Batsmen almost met each other in the middle of the pitch. We saw a terrible run out earlier this morning of Will Sutherland, the Renegades captain. Beautiful throw by Baxter Holt from the Scorchers. And that's a nice shot. Should go all the way. Yes, it does. Beautiful hitting there from Radhakrishnan. Stamping his authority on the innings early. Saw something fall and in the block hole, angling across his pads, cleared the front leg. Got a really good swing on it. That's good batting. Third man comes inside the circle as they opt to have two boundary riders out on the leg side for Radhakrishnan after that shot. And that's a little too steep from Crone. It's another wide. Third wide bowled by Crone so far. Just hasn't quite found a good consistent line and length here. Wanted to tempt Radhakrishnan into rashly hooking now that there's two men out on the leg side, and in fact that's right where he hits it. Well, that's poor cricket from Radhakrishnan. Second fielder has just gone out there. Already a productive over in terms of runs. And he falls straight into the trap. Well, that's probably just maturity there. He'll learn a lesson from that. Good captaincy from Sutherland. He saw where Radhakrishnan was looking to hit. He put the second fielder out there and he said, you know what, if you want to hit me for six over there, that's your prerogative. I'll say that's a good shot, but certainly come away with egg on your face when you fall into just such an obviously laid trap. Good on Crone though for bowling to the plan. He's got two deliveries left in this over after bowling a couple of wides. It's going to be Charlie Wakeham to the crease, who not typically known as a crash and bash T20 hitter, but the season just gone, he had a really good Sheffield Shield campaign. Sort of nuggety right-hander, not a particularly tall man, but what can he do? 2 wickets down within the power play and he just watchfully leaves, and perhaps wisely. Hasn't been a great power play for the Tigers. Ward has looked pretty good. He's on 13 off 11, but 2 wickets lost for just over 6 and over 6.5 in terms of run rate. And just confirming that power play figures, Tasmanian Tigers 2 for 26 off 4 overs. Advantage Renegades. Score is 2 for 26. Welcome back to Kazali's Arena for Game 2 of the doubleheader here today. Tigers in a spot of early bother, 2 for 26. And as has been the Renegades' tactic throughout the tournament, once the power play ends, they look at throwing the ball over to one of their leg spinners. Oh, and he's just started with a really bad drag down. Little fumble will allow the second, but lucky to escape without further damage was Stowe. Stowe's been really economical throughout this tournament. He hasn't gotten perhaps the wickets his performances have deserved, but he's asked questions. He's asked the right questions of the batsman, as we see another run added to the total. Ward, he's not looking too bad now. Needs a good partnership, as really can just feel the wind whipping up a bit here at Kazali's. Very common dry season occurrence. Late afternoon whipping up of wind, blowing away the heat of the day as we see Stowe. It's nice bowling. Of course, this whole tournament possible because Darwin, the top end, we just don't experience winter, a dry season, as we see a possible wrong and just be called a wide. Beautiful 30 degree days, barely a cloud in the sky as batsman misses out there. Been a busy couple of weeks for the top end. We've had the exercise pitch black, military war games, incredible array of fighter jets and aerial supply ships shooting across the sky up here. We're midway through the Darwin Festival, lots of great bands and other cultural activities about at the moment. City really comes alive this time of year as Stowe bowled pretty handy over to start with. Just finishes off with a single. Are they going to push? No, they won't. It's a good tight start from Stowe. Just 6 runs off it. Score is 2 for 32. Crone to continue his spell. Got the wicket in his last over. Oh, as we see a big hit into the leg side, no stopping that. Beautiful bat swing there from Ward. He's looked really positive in this innings so far. Not the first time he's done that in this innings, target that mid-wicket region. Really good way to start the 6th over. Score moves to 2 for 38, which is just looking like it could be about approaching par if they keep going in the way they are. A couple of early wickets. There's just a bit of a delay here while we find out what happened to the ball. In fact, I believe a box of new balls are being run out now for the umpires to inspect. Will Sutherland, the Renegades captain, is in conversation with Crone and also Marcus Harris, 2 senior men in the Renegades, chatting to their callow fast bowler. You know, how are you going to respond here, Xavier? What's the plan? No bowler likes getting hit for 6, and in fact it looks like they will now station a second man in the deep on the leg side. Looked like might have just been one before. In fact, they've gotten the original ball, so I don't know whether a new ball has already been selected or if that's just now become not needed. We've got our ball back. Always one of the great traditions of suburban cricket is looking for the ball when it gets hit into the bushes or into a car park. Unfurls a nice cut shot. Good fielding there. I fancy, in fact, that Ward had given up there. The keeper was, it all happened so quick. The keeper, Jai Lemire, was just no chance of being able to get up to the stumps, but really good stop there from shirt number 7, Matt Hennig. Right arm pace bowler. Hit and run. Good running. Renegades fancied that direct hit would have been interesting there. I like the look of it. As we just see, it was a nice quick call, committed early, but I think a direct hit might have been gone, but live to fight another day. It's going to be Wakeham to face up now. 5 deliveries for his 1 run, just playing his eye in. That's okay. You've got time when you're at the top of the innings in a T20 cricket match. You've actually got more time than you think you do, so nothing wrong with just getting your eye in as long as you cash in later in your innings. Just a quick acknowledgement of our 2024 top end T20 series partners: NT Tourism, Airport Development Group, DXC Technology, Thrifty Car Rental, Duke's Cricket Balls, and Charles Darwin University. So we see Crone come in again, falls over in his follow through, bit like the English seamer Mark Wood is well known to do. Umpire just goes to check out the foot marks. This has been a good over for the Tigers. This is just what they need to do. Just go along it. Try and get 8 or 9 runs and over. Don't take too many risks. Just build up a partnership as that just squirts out into the offside. Concluding the over, none for 9 off it. Score moves to 2 for 41 after 6. Well, Sutherland, he's going to continue with Stowe. Bowling to Tim Ward, who's just cutting into the offside for a single. It's looked good so far. Has Tim Ward. 26 off 19, that's a good clip. Can he convert it into a 50 or 60? We saw in this morning's game, Teague Wiley for the Scorchers. Oh, and that's a nice sweep shot. Textbook stuff from Wakeham. He's just patient. Saw a ball he liked. Hit beautifully on the 45. Got inside the line of the ball, which helped him access the real estate down at fine leg. They've got a short fine currently, but nearest boundary rider is deep square leg as now he goes for a reverse. Oh, that's a tight single. Just a bit more confusion between the batters. Their running hasn't quite been 100%. A couple of quarter chances maybe. Good delivery from Stowe, and it'll just be a single. Yes, earlier in the day we saw Teague Wiley anchor the Scorchers innings. Got a really well-paced 60 off about 45 balls, and that's really what Ward needs to do here, because 160 at this ground, very competitive. Oh, lucky that bottom edge went on to Wakeham's boot from the looks of things. Mightn't have been too far away from the stumps if it was allowed to roll back unimpeded. Half stop from Stowe. In fact, they're going to get 2 from that. Yes, that's very good running. That's exactly what you need to do here at Kazali's Arena. 9 more off the over. Score progresses to 2 for 50. So we just have a look at the Tassie Tigers batting card. Good little innings building by Tim Ward, 27 off 20. Prestwidge and Radhakrishnan both falling cheaply. Little mini partnership developing here. We're going to be seeing spin from both ends. The Renegades are going to throw their other young leg spinner into the ring, Tom Brooks. Oh, and a little French cut to start with. He's a really classical leg spinner, is Brooks. He gives the ball lots of flight, gives it every chance to drift and drop rather on the batsman. But that flight does come with the risk of the batsman being able to more easily reach it on the full, negate the spin. Two runs added to the total. Beautiful action Brooks has. Oh, and it's a big hit into the leg side. It's going to be big enough. That's another 6. Beautiful strike from Ward. He is peppering that leg side boundary. There was a man out there, but all he could do was watch it sail over his head. Look at this. Just gets down to make sure he gets that elevation. Does Ward. There's 3 men out on the leg side. Oh, and just doesn't manage to lay anything significant on that. But Ward is definitely looking to accelerate through the gears here. He's played really nicely for his 35. Good fielding, can't prevent the single. This is on track to be the 3rd consecutive over for the Tigers where they've managed to score at least 9 runs. Innings is just starting to build nicely after a wobbly start. That's 10 more to the total, 2 for 60 off 8 overs. Just having a look at the Renegades bowling card now. A wicket apiece to Xavier Crone and Fergus O'Neill. And both pretty impressive opening up the bowling. Stowe, Brooks have bowled 3 overs between them. 25 runs off those 3 overs. And we're going to see Matt Hennig, the right arm seam bowler, come in to bowl the first over of his spell. Think about the second, they're not going to take it. Hennig's had a reasonable campaign so far. 3 for 26 in one of the Renegades' earlier games of the campaign. He's not quite as fast as O'Neill and Crone, but just quick enough to make sure the batsmen don't switch off as Ward obtains another single out into the offside. Good partnership building here for the Tigers. $167 was a winning total earlier in the day. Oh, little streaky, edgy, down to fine leg. We'll get 2 to Wakeham's total. Where are the deep men? We've got 3 out on the leg side, 2 out on the offside. There's a deep third man. Deep extra cover point sort of area. And we've got a man at fine leg and deep square for the hook. Another man at... Oh, and we've seen a wicket. Yes, the short ball ploy works. Wakeham drawn into attempting to unfurl a hook shot. And Hennig, I told you just before, he's just quick enough, as we just see. Got big on Wakeham. He was looking to play that almost above his helmet. 13 off 15. It's handy, and it doesn't win you matches, but that's good bowling from Hennig. Risky shot regardless because of the deep men we saw earlier in this innings. Radhakrishnan, just after a second boundary rider was placed out on the leg side. We saw him play a big lofted flick in the mid-wicket region, straight down the fielder's throat. That's good bowling from the Renegades, bowling to the field that you've set. Really good to see. Brings in Tasmania's wicketkeeper and sometimes captain Jake Doran, who's had a successful campaign so far. He's currently sitting 3rd on the run leaderboard. He's scored 148 runs at a strike rate of 145 so far. Scored a really impressive 71 off just 37 deliveries against Bangladesh last night. He's looked in good nick. One of the senior men of this Tigers outfit. Been around on the domestic circuit a long time, has Jake Doran. Really good domestic cricketer. One ball to come from this successful first over from Hennig. He's asked the right questions. Just tucked into the leg side for a single. Well, a successful over there. Score moves to 3 for 65. And it looks like we're going to see the introduction of some off-spin here. Harry Dixon, he's gotten important wickets throughout this campaign. Offers a really attractive package with genuinely probing off-spin. It's definitely better than a part-timer who you can hope will sneak through a cheap over for 6 or 7 runs. He's a genuine threat is Dixon, and it's a good matchup against the left-hander Doran, who starts cautiously. In again. Just makes a bit of room for himself. He's a very good player of spin. Is Doran. In fact, Tim Ward is also a left-hander. Two left-handers at the crease. Good matchup, having Dixon look to drift it in and then spin it away from the bat. Another single added to the total. This is good from Dixon. This is what he does. Keeps things tight. Still offering a wicket-taking option. Good tight over there. It was over in the blink of an eye. None for three off that over. Takes the score to 3 for 68 at the halfway point. Both teams, I think, will be reasonably happy with their performances at the halfway point of this innings. Oh, and Hennig's got another wicket. Advantage Renegades, definitely. It's Doran who's going to have to go. He just clothed it to mid-on. Needed to play that a bit straighter, I fancy, but it was a ugly looking swat across the line and didn't go where he was hoping for it to go. That's a big blow because Doran, he's been in good form so far. Hennig continues to get important wickets in this 2024 edition of the top end T20 series. Ward, he's been there since the start of the innings. He's really held it together for the Tigers. They just need someone to stick with him and just build a partnership, not lose any more wickets, reassess at the 14th over or something like that. Brings Nick Davis to the crease. He's had a really good campaign so far. Has Davis, he's number 4 on the runs leaderboard so far. 117 at a strike rate of almost 140. Made some really key contributions. Hit a really nice, quick 44 off 25 against the NT Strikers. Hit another 30 against Bangladesh, so he's in good nick. His team really needs him here. Little stifled appeal for something down the leg side. Must have brushed the thigh pad or the shirt sleeve, as no wide called. Hennig's bowling really well. They're struggling to get him off the square. Tigers innings just getting a bit stale, not really going anywhere. Oh, and that was a bit uppish. Flash down to third man. It wasn't that far away from that backward point fielder. Good bowling from Hennig, doing exactly what his captain wants him to in these middle overs. Keep it tight, and if you get a wicket, let alone two, then you're doing your job, son. Ward is such a vital wicket now. They're coming for two. That's good, positive running there. I said earlier in this broadcast, there's lots of twos available on this ground. And it's the way that 140 becomes 160. Ward moves to 40. Scored about 60% of the Tigers' runs so far. Oh, and that's a nice fine tickle. Won't go all the way. It'll just be two. Brooks fielding nicely. What's the umpire going to call for that? Looks like runs. Ward progresses to 42. The score is 4 for 73. Welcome back to Kazali's Arena. Really is special, our territory. Been seeing a lot of vignettes of life up here. If you've been tuned into our broadcast, it was only a fortnight ago I caught my first barramundi. Too small to take home, but gee, it felt good. Two of Australia's most incredible national parks, Kakadu and Litchfield, are only an hour or two's drive away. As we see Stowe resume his spell. I've liked the look of Stowe. He's kept it tight throughout this campaign. He's bowling to Davis. Oh, and that's a good delivery. Lovely delivery. That might just put a few gremlins in Davis's head. Drifting out, drawing him into the big booming cover drive, and then spinning back through the gate. Good running again. That's a 2 into the outfield. Just these pair need to be together at the end of the 16th, 17th over. One more wicket here and the floodgates could open, but these are two of the form men of this Tigers lineup, particularly Davis. Doran is another, but he's already back in the sheds. 160 will be very competitive and has been very competitive in the 3 games previously played here at Kazales. We had a double header here yesterday and another here today. The Renegades have played in 3 out of those 4 matches, so testing the stamina of their young bowling attack as we see a really nice firm sweep into the leg side. Ward continues on his merry way. Picked up the length quickly. There's 2 boundary riders out there, but perfectly placed between them. They're running the first hard. Oh, late call for no. They would have been able to make it on the little fumble. That's 8 off the over. Score is 4 for 81. Understandably, Captain Will Sutherland is going to persist with Hennig, who's got figures of 2 for 10 off 2 overs. He's bowled really well. He's not given the Tigers any width to really free their arms so far. That's why he's got an economy rate of less than 5 now. Just hasn't given the batsman anything to swing at. And the field's been set really well. 3 men out on the leg side. That's how quite a few of these wickets are falling. Just a single into the covers. Sutherland, he's one of the coming men of Australian cricket. Probably would be more considered a bowling all-rounder at this stage of his career, but particularly in this top-end T20 series, he's played a couple of good knocks of 30s and 20s. Had a really good partnership with Marcus Harris in their opening game of the campaign, the Melbourne Derby. And they were enough to best the Melbourne Stars. He's been tight again, has Hennig. So we just see a adjustment in the field. Deep mid-on comes up into the circle. And that's a wide, just back of a length, but a bit too far outside the tram lines. And if we look at the field now, expect some chin music, because we've got a deep third man, deep fine leg, deep backward square, and a deep square leg. So he's already gotten a wicket from the short ball, has Hennig. Oh, and he just gets sliced into the offside. Just got the line wrong there for what his field was set, did Hennig, and he allowed Davis to swing freely on the offside. They did have a deep point and a deep third man, but sailed over backward point's head and perfectly pierced the two men out on the offside. So you can see what Hennig's trying to do. He just, with this field he has set, he needs to be aiming at that helmet badge or left armpit of Davis. That's exactly what he does, but Davis just ducks under that. One ball to come in the over after that wide. Davis facing now. Good glove work there from the wicketkeeper, Jai Lemire. That's the over done. 4 for 87 after 13. Harry Dixon, the off-spinning all-rounder, to get his second over. Really tight in his first over, just the 3 runs off it. So we see a reverse sweep, but the field is set for that. Ward, how well has he played today? 48 off 35. He deserves a half century. Turns it onto the leg side, just the single. Yeah, Ward's been a class above today so far. It's going to be Davis facing up, so Dixon spinning it into the right-hander. It's a deep mid-wicket, deep square, long off, and a deep cover sweeper. What can Dixon do here? What can the Tigers do? Just pushed into the offside. This is what he does Dixon. Just gets through his overs quickly, unfussily. Dixon caught unawares for a moment there. Didn't realise he would have to field off his own bowling. Another tight over from Dixon. There's a smattering of applause from the grandstands because Ward has just reached a really well-deserved 50. Dot ball. Score is 4 for 90 off 14. Looks like the power surge has been called by the batting team. Just 2 men allowed out at the boundary. There's a deep square leg and a deep long off. Sutherland's brought back his strike bowler, Fergus O'Neill. Ward just missing out a little bit there. There's a free hit through the offside. Just needed to pierce the inner ring there. This innings has just never quite gotten out of 3rd or 4th gear so far. Oh, and he's pulled. Oh, good effort, but it's 6. There was a man out there. Ward took him on. Good enough to clear it. That's a good little shock from the defibrillator for this Tigers innings. It just swiveled really nicely. It's almost a bit... Oh, what an effort. Oh, that was catchable height. It seemed to hang in there for ages. Stuck out the right mitt, but just unable to reel it in. Good start to the power surge for the Tigers. There's no protection out on the offside, so if you can pierce that inner ring. Tries to get funky, hits something, just a single there. Good over so far for the Tigers, 11 off it, 2 balls to come. Field just switches around with the right-hander coming on strike. Been in really good form, has Davis. He's really helped the Tigers. Oh, just little inside edge onto the pads. Another run added to the total there. Yeah, Davis has been really good at giving the Tigers innings some back-end oomph. The problem with the Tigers has been misfiring top order, as we see a nice shot through the offside again. That'll run away. This is becoming a very profitable over for the Tigers. Once again, piercing that offside ring. 16 coming from that. 4 for 106. Unsurprising move here from Sutherland, the captain. The strike bowler, Xavier Crone, has come back to bowl out his allocation. Davis looking once again to pierce that very tempting offside field. Two men out, a deep square leg and deep mid-wicket. These Tigers batsmen are mighty tempted by this offside boundary, and just like clockwork, Davis gives himself room in order to just carve up over that inner ring. It's been profitable for both of these batsmen. Good batting there. His power surge has been good for Tasmania so far. And just good full on the toes. Kept to one. Good boundary fielding there. That was better from Crone. There's nothing you can do with that toe crushing, really full in the block hole delivery. As we just have a quick look at the worm, you can definitely see that uptick just in the last over and a half. That's the power surge. Only 2 men out on the boundary, and Tigers batsmen are making the most of it so far. And in fact, that's another boundary. There was a man out, but he was in front of square, and bit of a nothing delivery from Crone there. Only really reached as high as Ward's hip, and he was just able to swivel and just smoke it to the boundary. This has been really good the last couple of overs for the Tigers. That one's high on the bat this time. Probably won't go all the way as a dive. Well done. That was better directed from Crone. It's 2 more to the total though. Another good over here for the Tigers. This power surge has really helped them create a bit of momentum in this innings. Ward 71 off 45, really playing exactly the sort of innings you want your opening batsman to play. Take it deep. Oh, and that's, oh, what a catch! What a catch from Fergus O'Neill. He has snared that centimetres from the ground. It was 4 for all money. Powerfully struck down the ground. O'Neill took a couple of big steps to his right, and he just stuck those hands out, got both hands to it. The ball wasn't dislodged when he hit the ground. Elbows hit the ground. Look at that catch. That is out of the top drawer. Good innings from Ward. It was a full toss. It really wasn't Crone's best delivery, and there was no one behind O'Neill. That was going to be laced to the boundary if he didn't get the hands there. What a good innings from Tim Ward. Really did what his team needed him to do. It's the end of the over, 5 for 117. That was a really special grab by O'Neill. He's got the danger man. Ward, the way Ward was hitting it, that catch has probably saved the Renegades at least 20 runs, I would have thought. It's going to be Brooks to bowl his second over. Hasn't had a lot of work to do in this innings. Lofted into the mid-wicket region. Just a single from the first ball of the 17th over. Kane Richardson, Australian fast bowler, 12th man today for both of the Renegades games. He's in the squad as a sort of elder statesman. Brooks, there should be 2 in that. No, just the single. It's a really good spin attack this Renegades squad has between Brooks and Stowe, leg spinners, and then you've got Harry Dixon, the all-rounder, tweaking it the other way. So regardless of whether you got left or right-handers, as we see a nice shot into the leg side, but there's cover out there. Just a single. Singles are a win for the Renegades at this stage of the innings. Tigers, can they get the score up to 160? I've been saying it before on this broadcast, 160, really competitive total out here at Kazales. Wind is really starting to pick up out here. Flock of cockatoos flying overhead. Sound of primary school kids in after school care just ringing across the ground. I love these suburban cricket grounds. It's been a good over from Brooks, just the 3 singles so far. Oh, and what's happened there? Just a single. No, they will get a second just on a little fumble. Just a little tickle on that. But a good over nonetheless. Takes the score to 5 for 122. 3 overs to come. Take a moment to once again acknowledge and thank our 2024 Top End T20 Series partners, NT Tourism, Airport Development Group, DXC Technology, Thrifty Car Rental, Duke's Cricket Balls and Charles Darwin University. We are grateful for your support. As we see Stowe back into the attack once again. He's bowled economically this spell, not among the wickets, but he's kept things tight in all of the games so far, and so he forms a really important part of this bowling attack as Davis just makes room to access the offside. Brooks bowled a good over last over. Can Stowe back it up and keep the Tigers to 6, 7, 8 runs this over? Good from Stowe. He just doesn't bowl you many hit-me balls. A lot of emerging spinners, particularly leg spinners, can just expect once or twice an over. Oh, that was a good appeal. I wonder if Curtin, the new batsman, was just able to get outside the line there as we wait and see a replay. Oh, that's hit high. Don't think a fielder will get there, but they'll come back for a second. Good running there. This is good bowling from Stowe. He just doesn't bowl you many bad balls. He's got a really nice stock delivery that's just hard to get away as we see the replay of that LBW. Shout. Push through fuller and quicker from Stowe. This is a fantastic over at this time of the innings to only go for 3 off 5 balls. There's cover out there. They might... Oh, that's a fantastic over. Just the single off the last ball. 4 off the over. That is fantastic bowling from Stowe. He might not have a number in the wickets column, but he's been mighty impressive today. As we look at the column graph, a couple of big overs during the power surge, but 2 overs since then. That's put a bit of a dampener. I thought this innings was building nicely, but now they're going to have to scrap to 150. Oh, that'll help. Leg side wide as O'Neill comes in to bowl out his quota. Those 2 overs by the young leggies, Brooks and Stowe, they went for a combined 9 runs. And at this stage of the innings, that is really mature and impressive performance from those 2 young leggies. Curtin just missing out on a full one on his pads. Innings is just fizzling a little bit. They need a couple of boundaries. That's gone straight up. Not sure if mid-on will get there. No, it's gone down. Not 100% sure if he quite got there. It was a really good effort. It always looked as though he wasn't quite going to make it. Really good effort. Long off, running around. Oh, he just fell over a bit at the end. It was a good effort. Five for 130. This innings just petering out a little bit. Good slower ball from O'Neill there. Really good. Davis has just got the boundary in mind, but he was through the shot incredibly early. Good thinking cricket from O'Neill. We know how successful slower balls can be at the back end of a T20 innings, as we see a big powerful straight drive and it evades the fielder once again. Looked like long on was in action there. It was almost a carbon copy of earlier in the over where 2 runs were hit down the ground. Just looked as though they were always going to be in a race against it. And they're just going to pilfer 2. That's good running. Really good running at this stage of the innings. That's the end of the 19th over. 10 scored from it. The score is 5 for 136. So we see a replay. Yes, he got there. Got both hands to it just about. But just with the force of the stroke, just burst through and to rub salt into the wound. It was a precious boundary added to the score. Hennig is going to bowl the last over of this innings. He's been very good in his 3 overs so far. 2 for 16. really economical. He's just not allowed any of the batsmen the space to free their arms.
Really good here, Thunder.
The Tigers, can they push that score up to 150? Need a couple of boundaries this over as Hennig starts well. Good line and length. Wanted to flash through the offside, but no footwork there from Curtin, and it's a good start. They've really tightened the screws since this power surge. Have the Renegades after the power surge. I thought 160, 165 might have been on the cards, but once again, Hennig is just bowling the most marvellous spell today. He's been a real consistent performer for the Renegades throughout this campaign. I'm getting some smiles from long off. Xavier Crone, I think he likes my commentary. Hennig in again in the block hole. Great death bowling. Really is. It's gotten the single, but just fallen in the block hole, not allowing the Tigers to get any elevation under the shot. Great death bowling. Just one off the over so far. And it's an attempted ramp. Is someone going to get under that? No. I'll just run two. Went straight up in the air, but behind keeper Jai Lemir's head. Just 2 runs, but they really need to be dealing in boundaries here. I'm not convinced 145 will do the job on this ground. And Hennig gets the reward. That's where he's been the whole over. He's just been full. He's been at the stumps. The batsmen, they just want to clear the front leg, swing for the hills, but he's just had such a perfect control of his length.
Awesome, Chuck.
This over, really mature death bowling from Hennig here. Davis played well for a runner ball, 26, but as we just see the replay here, probably kept a bit low, truth be told, but again, batsman was never going to get enough elevation, loses his shape completely there. Can Hennig close out his spell? What an incredible final over. 3 runs and a wicket, taking the Tasmanian Tigers to 6 for 139. Hennig finishes with figures of 3 for 19 off his 4. He was just magnificent. That is one of the best last overs you could ever hope to bowl in 2020 cricket. You could record that, play it to people just getting started in the game of T20 cricket, because you could watch a whole season of IPL, watch the Caribbean Premier League, Big Bash, and He'd be hard-pressed to find a better 20th over than the one just bowled by Hennig. And so the Tigers, well, I think they'd be a little underwhelmed with the eventual 139 they got. They just never were able to get out of fourth gear. The exception to that, Tim Ward, well, he batted through 4/5 of the innings, score of 71 off 46, took a really special catch from Fergus O'Neill to dislodge him. But it was really him and then daylight. Nick Davis got a handy runner ball 26 out in the dying stages of the innings. Wakeham 13 off 15, handy, but didn't change the momentum of the innings. And Zach Curtin 10 off 15. Be disappointed he didn't find the boundary one or two more times. But there you have it. Tim Ward really doing a lot of the heavy lifting, 71 off 46. He was particularly strong on the leg side, and he really saved that Tigers innings from complete collapse. Looking at the bowling card, wicket for Fergus O'Neill. He was a little expensive, 1 for 38. Xavier Crone, he bowled well, 2 for 34. Stowe, once again, incredibly economic spell. Really did deserve a wicket, none for 27. Brooks did his job, none for 15 off 2. But the story of the innings, Matt Hennig, 4 overs, 3 wickets for 19 runs, economy rate of just 4.75, and he, as I've been raving to you before, just bowled one of the most technically proficient 20th overs you're ever likely to see. Really good stuff there from Matt Hennig. He's had an impressive campaign. We just wait for some innings highlights to bring you. Tigers just were never quite able to get away from the Gades. It was good batting in parts, but just needed to stitch together some more partnerships with Ward. That is what the innings was missing. Just when a little mini partnership was being stitched together. So we see one of Hennig's wickets. Attacked the body. Hardly ever strayed loose on the offside, did Hennig. Ward, he batted really well. Really one of the innings of the tournament so far, as alongside Doran's recent contribution. 71 odd. Recent game, 71 off 37 against Bangladesh, and also Darcy Short's opening game foray against his old team, the Perth Scorchers. That was a big appeal, just outside the line. Dixon, he's contributed some important overs throughout this Renegades campaign, and opposition batsmen just haven't quite been able to put him under pressure. He's bowled a lot of 1, 2, 3 over spells. Opposition batsmen just yet to take him to the cleaners, as see another wicket fall there. Just on the innings break now. We'll be back with you shortly.
Welcome to the waterfront. There are a million reasons to come. Where the water meets the land, a place to connect, enjoy and relax. Open every day, 7 seasons a year. Plan your next visit to Darwin's tropical resort today at waterfront.nt.gov.au.
all these 9 teams that have travelled to the beautiful top end of the Northern Territory. They're all very well matched, and it's pretty difficult to see at this stage exactly who might be contesting the 2 semi-finals on Sunday. It's going to be Blake McDonald and Harry Dixon opening the batting for the Renegades. Gabe Bell to come in, and little stifled bit of interest there from Charlie Wakeham standing in the slips. Dixon and McDonald there, yet to truly set this series alight. Good opportunity for them here today to spend some time in the middle. Right-left combination. There's a deep backward square and a deep backward point for McDonald. And McDonald not tempted into hanging his bat out there, trying to feel bat on ball. Not chasing a massive target today, so batsmen can afford to play themselves in without instantly feeling the pressure of a 10 and over required run rate. That's Bell in again. No single on offer. They're a good bowling unit. The Tigers. Gabe Bell, he's a proven domestic performer. Kieran Elliott has bowled well in this tournament so far. Raf McMillan, the spinner, is in fact the fourth leading wicket taker this tournament so far. He's claimed 6 scalps. So we just see another single taken. Good tight first up over from Bell. Just see a little flash out to that deep backward point. Good bowling from Bell. Just the 2 off it. Score is none for 2. And this is interesting from Tigers skipper Gabe Bell. He's going to bring Raf McMillan on to share the new ball with him. Impressive campaign so far for Raphael McMillan. Best analysis of 3 for 17. He's claimed 6 scalps and brilliant economy rate of 5.7. 5.87, I should say. Nice paddle around the corner. I don't think the deep square picked that up, but I don't think it would have mattered. McDonald hits the first boundary of the innings. Just a poor line from the off-spin bowler. On another sweep played. This one's in front of square. I'll get a comfortable 2. McMillan persisting with the around the wicket angle. And this time played through the offside. Attractive shot. Batsmen have stopped running because that's 4. Rocky start to his spell for the young tweaker. So see this replay. Backing away. Gets nice and on top of it. Textbook shot. And McDonald, after hitting 10 runs in 3 balls, is just starting to motor into his innings, although he can't beat the mid-wicket there. Playing another sweep. And just a single to finish off, but that's a good over from the Renegades. 11 from it. Takes the score to none for 13. Beautiful afternoon at Kazali's Arena, where the Renegades are chasing 140 for victory. Made a solid start as Captain Gabe Bell rings in his first change. Fast bowler Kieran Elliott is going to bowl the 3rd over of the power play. That, of course, means only 2 fielders allowed out on the boundary. McDonald thinks he's got his eye in now. He's starting to play a bit more expansively. Not able to connect with that. It actually looks like it seamed and bounced quite significantly. He's quite a tall man, is Elliott, wearing shirt number 99. He's had a good campaign so far. Hasn't been hugely among the wickets, but and flashing there. He's got good pace, does Elliott. He's looking dangerous. Just in the 2 balls we've seen so far. How's McDonald going to respond? Is he already getting frustrated? He just gets off strike. Good cricket. Dixon hasn't managed to get much of the strike so far. He's only faced the 3 deliveries. They don't need to do anything too fancy in this chase. 7 and over. This is a good start from Elliott. Nice and tight. Bowling on that hittable length. It's too short to come forward, but arguably a bit full to to go back to. They need early wickets, the Tigers. When you're defending an average score, you can't hope to choke opposition teams with... Oh, and he's done it. Pushes that one a bit fuller. He'd been targeting that back of a length this over. Dixon falls cheaply. He's looked very dangerous this over. So far has Elliott. Good pace. He forced the batsman back with a couple of back of a length deliveries and then a coup de grace. Full straight at the stumps. Dixon, as we see the replay, looked to hit that probably a bit too square. Would have had a better chance of survival had he have been playing a straight bat shot. That's the early breakthrough the Tigers needed. It's not going to be enough in a chase of 140 to build scoreboard pressure. You also need to be striking regularly. Mac Harvey comes to the crease. He played a handy knock earlier today as the Renegades went down to the Scorchers for the Scorchers to get their first win of this 2024 top-end T20 series. Harvey, we know he's a good performer at the domestic level. Fantastic opening foray from fast bowler Kieran Elliott. Just the one off the over. The score progresses to 1 for 14 off 3. And looks like we're going to see some more spin. Last over of the power play. It's going to be Radhakrishnan, the all-rounder. He's bowled some really handy overs in this series so far. Hasn't quite managed to get going as a batsman just yet, but he has posed a threat with the ball. McDonald to face. Tight enough start. Oh, big hit into mid-wicket. That'll go all the way. Beautiful shot from McDonald. Was in his arc. It just sat up nicely for him to swing cleanly across the line. Of course, only 2 fielders out on the boundary in the power play, so not much cover out on the boundary. Radhakrishnan bowling his left arm orthodoxes. Dot ball. can't beat mid-off, so just a single. He's gotten a good start here, has McDonald. He needs to do what Tim Ward was able to do for the Tigers and bat it better than run a ball. Just really anchor this innings. Do what he's doing, just find the boundary every second over. Make Captain Gabe Bell just ring in the changes as we see Radhakrishnan change to a over the wicket line for the left-hander. In fact, what Radhakrishnan has done is he's actually changed his bowling arm from the looks of things. Radhakrishnan is ambidextrous. Here we go. Straight back to bowling with his left hand. And is this a chance or will it drop safe? In fact, it's a boundary. It went miles in the air. It hung there for ages, and I thought a couple of the Tigers, Prestwidge and Ward, I thought they were going to snaffle it, but just landed safely, plugged a little bit, but it was hit well enough to find the boundary. And that's good cricket from Ward. End of the over, 1 for 26. Good cricket from McDonald, I should say. End of the power play now. It's going to be Clark to bowl his first over. And that clears mid-off. Should just be 2. It wasn't the most convincing shot from Harvey, but managed to clear that mid-off fielder. Both teams will feel like they're still in it. Renegades haven't gotten off to the best start. But when you're chasing a target like 140, if you want to defend that, you really need to be taking wickets regularly, and perhaps the Tigers would have hoped to have had the Renegades 2 down by now, but McDonald's looking good. 24 off 17. Started well. He's found the boundary a couple of times. Mac Harvey just getting into his innings. Run a ball 4 so far. Pair of lefties at the crease. Nice tight start from Clark. Haven't seen Clark bowl in this tournament so far. Good work by the keeper Doran to rein that one in. That was a loose delivery. Saw McDonald move across his crease and tried to, I fancy, fire it in at leg stump, which had been made vulnerable by McDonald's actions, but just got it wrong before following up with a nice delivery. So just 4 coming from the over so far. Good start for Lachlan Clark. Just hangs that one out a bit too wide. McDonald's already shown how powerful he is on the leg side. That was a pretty close call. Although the umpires are strict at policing the tram lines in limited overs cricket. Another play and a miss. That's a good over there. Just the 5 coming off it. Score is 1 for 31 after 5.
Welcome to the waterfront. There are a million reasons to come. Where the water meets the land, a place to connect, enjoy and relax. Open every day, 7 seasons a year. Plan your next visit to Darwin's tropical resort today at waterfront.nt.gov.au.
Radhakrishnan set to continue, ambidextrous bowler. Looks like he's been bowling right arm off spin to the left-handed. Oh, lovely. Lovely from a batsman. That is a good shot. It's McDonald again. In his hitting arc. Just angled in nicely to the pads and then sat up when it gripped, and Radhakrishnan has been copping some stick now. Blake McDonald, that's the second 6 hit off Radhakrishnan's bowling so far. Oh, and a smart little reverse. It's going to be worth 3. Yes, it is. Good batting from McDonald, just really showing his power, but then also his deftness. He decided early to reverse and picked a good ball for it. That's the length that you can quite comfortably sweep and reverse sweep to. Dot ball. That target is already down to 99 from 86 balls. They need wickets, the Tigers do, if they're going to have any chance of defending 140. Required run rate already down below 7. Oh, and that's a lucky break. Nice delivery from Radhakrishnan. It's going to go all the way. Oh, it's a boundary. It's an edge. Little moral victory there for Radhakrishnan. It was a really nice piece of bowling. McHarvey didn't know much about that. Look at this. Yeah, thick outside edge. Not to the pitch of the ball, but just sort of swung wildly at it. It'll just be a single to end the over, but it's an expensive one. 15 from it. 1 for 46. 6 completed. Elliott to bowl his second over. Already got a wicket to his name, dismissing opening batsman Harry Dixon for 1, full and fast and straight. He's looked really good in his 1 over. Left-handed Mackenzie Harvey on strike, and he misses that. I wonder if that's tickled something, as I can't see wide called for that. Oh no, it's actually hit him smack in the midriff. I didn't quite see that from where I'm sitting, but looked like it copped him sweet. Elliott's looking dangerous. Harvey just needs to think about the partnership here. Your batting colleague Blake McDonald's already on a really well-made 30-odd. He's seeing them like watermelons. Oh, and that's sliced fine. There's cover down there. They are going to come back for the second. Good running. Harvey went hard at that. That's why he was able to clear that sort of gully backward point fieldsman. There is cover down with deep third. There's also a deep point, deep square leg. And that's carved into the offside. It's going to be a boundary. Nice shot from Harvey. He created room for himself, backing away, giving himself the space to carve over the offside. As we see, there was a fielder out there, but just too good for him. Good shot from Mac Harvey. Just innings building nicely. One ball left in this Elliott over, notwithstanding the boundary. It's been pretty good. But the Tigers, what they need is wickets. Keeping the Gades to 7 and over is just not going to be good enough with the target of 140. And there's a sweeper out there to just keep it to 1. So 7 off that over, taking the score to 1 for 53. And Lachlan Clark has just been swung around to the other end. He's just bowled the one over so far, been tidy. Oh, into the midriff again, but around the corner. 2 runs there. What's that going to be called? Maybe a bit of glove or... The Tigers, they need wickets. Oh, lovely strike. 1 bounce 4. Beautiful lofted shot into deep mid-wicket. McDonald, well, he looks really good. He progresses to 37 now. Renegades are all over the Tigers thus far. Tries it again. Lightning does strike twice. Bit shorter from Clark, but still allowed McDonald to get a good bat swing in. He just swivel pulled it. Just a bit of a nothing delivery from Clark. So we see the replay. It just didn't get up enough. They've now put protection out there. I wonder if the horse has already bolted. There's a deep mid-wicket and a deep square now. There's also going to be a long off, long on. And there's a couple of fielders out in the deep. Oh, there's certainly a deep point. Yep, always 2 there. You get if you run hard, you get good value out here at Kazales. Big ground, bit of a slowish outfield. Into that leg side again. Just for a single. Good over from the Renegades. At the start of this over, they did only have 4 men on the boundary, but Blake McDonald's forced them to push a 5th man back. It's a good win. So we look at the comparative worms. Renegades are putting the Tigers under a lot of pressure, and that's a nice square drive. Good batting here from these 2 Renegades batsmen. Harvey's motored to 30 after that onslaught earlier in the over. McDonald's just helped himself to another 4. 17 coming off that Clark over. Score is 1 for 70. Look at this partnership. Really good partnership batting from these 2 young batsmen. 56 from 31 balls. In a chase of 140, you only need one really good partnership to get you close to the line, and these 2 batsmen have been very proactive. There's a fluency that the Tigers were just never able to achieve. So we see Raf McMillan had a very successful series so far, but just a little expensive in his first over. How are the Tigers going to dislodge this partnership? What different tactic can be tried? Because it's all just looking too easy for the Renegades at the moment. They're in cruise control. They're finding the boundary regularly. Oh, was that a little caught and bowled opportunity, or was it a bump ball? That could have been a big moment. It's going to be a single. And was that a bump ball, or was that a dropped chance, caught and bowled? I think the captain, Gabe Bell, needs to bring himself on soon. They need a breakthrough. Nice square drive there. Good effort. Out in the deep. Just keeps it to 2, but once again, it just looks all a bit too easy for these Renegades. Both batsmen into the 30s. Powerful sweep into the leg side. I think Gabe Bell needs to bring himself back on for an over or two. He's had a good series so far. He's looked dangerous. There's no sense holding his 3 overs back for when it's too late. And that's stopped by the man at 45. Going at a run rate of 8.65 are the Renegades. Required rate just down to 5.74. That'll help. Really powerful sweep around the corner. Gee, that was a good shot. It ends the over, and it means that there were 9 conceded from that over. Score moves to 1 for 79. Just all a bit too easy for the Renegades at the moment. Target 140. Partnership now up to 61 from 36. That's where the Tigers fell short a little bit. Tim Ward played a bit of a lone hand at the top, and he just didn't have that partnership support. There were just no partnerships built throughout the innings. Oh, and it's a wicket. Great bowling from Radhakrishnan. Copped a bit of stick in his first 2 overs, but that was just a lovely off-spinner's dismissal. As we see that, tempted, good flight, good celebration. That's the breakthrough the Tigers were looking for. They need 1 or 2 more, and they need it yesterday. Handy innings from Mac Harvey. It just shows the benefit of having an ambidextrous tweaker in your side. Radhakrishnan bowled that right arm off spin, and he came around the wicket, so sort of drifted in. Mac Harvey thought it was drifting into his arc, but he just got a bit too leg side, and when he gave it the big heave-ho, the ball had spun enough to just kiss the outside edge. Handy innings comes to a close, but that's the breakthrough Tigers were looking for. Brings to the crease Marcus Harris. Got a good half century in the Renegades match last night. This is a good start to the over from Radhakrishnan. Went for 27 off his first two, but the captain's had faith, and that's not the first time we've seen Harris play that shot. Lovely, delicate, fine sweep. He is a master at that. Just getting the wrong line there was Radhakrishnan. Harris just using the pace. He's a little quicker through the air is Radhakrishnan. Nice batting from Marcus Harris. Oh, that's kept low. That has kept subterraneanly low. That was almost below the dirt. He goes to nudge it onto the leg side on the back foot, and that ball has just burrowed. Radhakrishnan strikes for the second time in the over. This could be a huge moment in the game. Brings captain Will Sutherland to the crease, run out for one earlier today. He got burnt by Baxter Holt fielding at point. Only had one and a bit stumps to aim at. But he's been in good batting form otherwise for the Renegades. And is that a game-changing over just when they needed a couple of strikes to just rein the Renegades in? Radhakrishnan delivers with a couple of good bits of bowling here. Looks like he's going to switch to left arm orthodox, maintain that around the wicket angle, but this time Sutherland is a right-hander, so he's spinning the ball away from Sutherland, and they bring the deep mid-wicket fielder in. It looks like they're going to tempt Will Sutherland to hit against the spin. The end of the over, a very successful over from Radhakrishnan. 4 off it, but 2 wickets. Is that a game changer? Score is 3 for 83. McDonald, he remains at the crease. 42 off 27. He's been playing really nicely. And he's going to be facing Kieran Elliott, who's looked dangerous today. 1 for 8 off 2 overs is a good return. He looks quick, he looks dangerous. I wonder if Radhakrishnan's earned himself a 4th over after that double strike. I'd still like to see Gabe Bell just come on for an over or 2 just to see if they can prize out another quick wicket and just put the Renegades under a bit of pressure, put some gremlins in their heads. Where does this next wicket come from? Short, pulled around the corner, 4. Lovely shot. Just sat up at a nice height. It wasn't short enough. It allowed McDonald to get on top of it, get some real force into the shot. Nothing wrong with short pitch bowling. It's just got to be short enough, and that was a bit too easy. Good field placement from McDonald. There was a fielder down at fine leg. That fielder's just coming in, so looks like Elliott will push his length up. Cries of catch it. Deep mid-wicket fielder had his hand up, protecting his eyes. Sun's coming right across the ground, that beautiful setting territory sun. I don't think he would have gotten to it even had he have picked it up right from the start. Will Sutherland on strike now, and they've gone back to having a deep fine leg, deep third man. And it's a good delivery, too good for Sutherland. Sutherland, of course, made his one-day international debut earlier this year. 2 outings against the West Indies. Got a twofer in one of his games and hit a handy little 18. He's definitely one of the coming men of Australian cricket. More of a bowling all-rounder at this stage, but he's got power in his game, and we expect the batting to come along. 5 from the over, 3 for 87. 88, my apologies, it's 5 from the over. Going to be Clark to deliver his third. He's been a bit expensive so far. Batsman doesn't make a good connection with the ball. McDonald just 3 away from a well-deserved half-century. He's looked classy today. Really powerful over the leg side, but when the bowlers have pushed it too wide, happy to carve over the infield on the offside as he just moves across around the corner. Will that go all the way? I fancy it might. No, just pulls up short. And that is his half-century. Well-deserved. Smattering of applause from the grandstand. Played really well. The opening bat is still there. He's seen 3 of his teammates already depart. Sutherland just looking to play himself in here. He's just feeling for it outside the off stump. I'd still like to see Bell bring himself on for a second over. I think they just need another wicket here just to put the jitters among the Renegades. They've got to find a way to remove Blake McDonald. If he sticks out for the full allocation, well, this game's going to be lost. Oh, and that's a regulation edge. Should be cut off. Yes, nice fielding, just 2. He's just feeling for it a little bit outside off stump at the moment is Sutherland. I wonder if it's worth just trying to be really aggressive and just try a couple of balls with a slip in, because he's looking very loose outside off stump just while he plays himself in. There we see it again. One ball left in this over. Been pretty good so far from Clark. 5 from the over so far. Sutherland is just feeling for the ball outside off stump. Good running, nice early call. 3 for 94 we are now after that Clark over, which cost 6. Well, I wonder if Tigers captain Gabe Bell heard me speaking last over when he was fielding it long on. He's brought himself on to have a bowl now. I think this is a wise move. They really need another wicket or 2 here because the run rate's well in hand. McDonald has his eye in. He's got a half century, but Sutherland is just yet to really find the middle of the bat. But that's what Sutherland needs to do. He just needs to get McDonald on strike. You always want to be feeding the strike to the batsman who's been finding the boundary. Good shot through the covers. And batsmen aren't running for that because that's 4 any day of the week. McDonald showing his versatility. Has been so strong in front of the wicket on the leg side today, but that was just a nice cover drive. Stayed quite leg side of the ball. Probably wasn't one for the... Oh, and he's... Yes, put it down. Deep backward square's throat. Well, the bowling change works. Danger man. Blake McDonald, he hits a boundary and then he takes on the fielder in the leg side. It's the end of a good innings from McDonald. He's given his team a really good chance. Maybe just a bit full to try and be lofting it with that amount of elevation, because it just sent it right down the throat of deep backward square. His teammates clap him off. That was a good innings from Blake McDonald. Brings the wicketkeeper Jai Lemire And Lemire's... Oh, in fact, are we in for a bit of a change here? Could be that Xavier Crone's been promoted. Lemire's had a pretty good tournament so far. Gabe Bell. Oh, that's a good shout. No. Inside edge or possibly outside the line. Been called a leg bye. Tigers like that. Maybe just going down leg side. Oh, that's glanced really nicely over that man in the ring on 45. Sutherland. That'll make him feel good. Just managed to get inside the line of that. Just whip it around the corner. Truth be told, he didn't really move that much. It was just a bit ill-directed from Bell. It's a bit too leg side when you don't have cover fielder out. We may actually, as we see the end of successful Bell over, 12 from it, but importantly, as a wicket. McMillan. Good fielding. Oh. Is he home? I think he has made his ground. Launches high into the leg side. No one's going to get that because it's 6. Just dropping a bit too short was McMillan. Just gave Crone all the time in the world to sit back, wait for it, and line it up. This game is slipping away from the Tigers. Just a couple of Tigers rooting around in the scrub, trying to find this ball. They always felt 15 to 20 runs light. Did the Tigers. Just weren't able to stitch any partnerships together. Ward got more than half the total. He scored 71 himself. But apart from Davis, who scored 26 odd, just didn't have a lot of support. I always thought they'd just be a little light in the runs column. That's paddled nicely. Another 4. Well, this is turning into a good over. Good decision to promote Crone. Believe we might also be in the power surge at the moment, because I can only see 2 boundary riders. And that could be wide, just last over in this over. Renegades batsmen have had no trouble finding the boundary. Crone, he's played a couple of handy innings already throughout the tournament. He's a good lower order hitter in the sort of Mitch Stark mould. And he's going to find the boundary again. Once again, just easily turning it around the corner. This is proving to be a costly over. McMillan, he's had a good tournament so far, but just hasn't been his day with the ball today. The batsmen have just found it too easy to hit boundaries off his bowling. Renegades looking like they're going to do this in a canter to secure their 3rd win from 5 starts. Oh, and that's high into the leg side. More runs here. That's going to be 4. Not as convincing as some of his previous shots, but again, there's just not the protection there. And this is good hitting from Cronies on 18 off 5 already. 4 consecutive boundaries for McMillan. And he does the right thing. Just pushes it up fuller, doesn't let Crone get underneath that. Expensive over. 20 from it. The score is 4 for 125. Welcome back to Kazali's Arena. Renegades not far to go now. Plenty of balls in hand. Big full bunger there. Not punished. This is why I thought Bell should have brought himself back on earlier, because the game's all but gone now. And so this over, it's damage control, but it's not an over bowled. When the game was seesawing. The Tigers, barring a miracle, this will be their 3rd defeat from 5 starts. Still plenty of time to get themselves back in the tournament. Oh, that's hit high. It's going to clear the infield, is it? It will land safely for 2 runs. Good strategically from the Renegades to send Crone in. He's on 21 off 9. Perfect innings just to sort of bury any little last minute jitters you might get. Oh, and that's lovely. I think it was a bit of a slower ball there, but Crone is able to flick it over. Fine leg. This is a lovely little cameo from Crone. It's not the first time this tournament that he's hit important lower order runs. He's bowled well throughout, gotten wickets in a timely fashion. He could develop into a really good all-round package as they pinch a single. That's good cricket. Only need 9 runs now. Game is pretty much as good as gone for the Tigers. Just too many boundaries have been hit in this Renegades innings. They bowled quite a few dot balls, but any time any sort of pressure has just started to be built, I've just managed to find the boundary. Oh, and that was a difficult one. It's gone through the keeper. It's going to be 4 byes here. That one, again, kept low. It's 7 runs off the bat, 11 runs off the over, and wow, the Renegades, they're in touching distance now.
Welcome to the waterfront. There are a million reasons to come. Where the water meets the land, a place to connect, enjoy and relax. Open every day, 7 seasons a year. Plan your next visit to Darwin's tropical resort today at waterfront.nt.gov.au.
And it's fast bowler Kieran Elliott to bowl what may well be the last over of the match. He's bowled really well. Again, his over is just coming a bit too late. I think the Tigers have just probably missed a trick by not just trying to prise open the door a bit further. There's no sense holding back overs from your best bowlers, Kieran Elliott and Gabe Bell, when a target is not a massive one. I wonder if maybe just turned around the corner. I wonder if that'll be a leg bye. No, it's a single. Just 3 until victory. Elliott, he's bowled beautifully, but he's only got 4 runs to defend, and just a single there. 4 runs to defend. He's not bowling this over in a circumstance where the game is live, and I think him and Gabe Bell just needed to bowl a few more when the game was still live, just to give themselves the best chance of... Oh, and that's high on the bat. Is that going to be 6? Oh, great catch. Great catch in the deep. I fancy that's Ward. Is it? What's happening here? There's a bit of confusion as to exactly what's happened here. He is out after all. It seemed like he didn't really want to go. Did Crone? Maybe there was a thought that fielder in deep had stumbled over the rope, or this just really goes to prove my point. Elliott and Bell, they've both having good tournaments. They've both taken wickets today. But the wickets have just come too late. I really think they needed to be bowling while this match was still live. Really nifty little innings from Crone there, 27 and almost a strike rate of 200. The Tigers, I'm just not sure they've been 100% there tactically today. The Renegades, they've put in a good performance. Restricting the Tigers to 140 was always going to be a steep ask. Defending 140. Looks like that long off fielder is going to come into the circle. Deep extra cover and a deep square leg at the moment. Oh, good delivery, good pace. Elliott, he's bowled really well today. He's having a good series so far. Our 2024 Top End Series partners, NT Tourism, Airport Development Group, DXC Technology, Thrifty Car Rental, Duke's Cricket Balls and Charles Darwin University. As Elliott comes in, just a single. Scores a level now. It was a really good over from Elliott, just 3 from it. He finishes up with 2 for 16. Score is 5 for 139. Really good performance from the Renegades. They lost their match first up this morning. But they've bounced back with a victory here. Gabe Bell to bowl what must be the last over of the match. Scores a level. No run. McDonald batted really well for his 54 odd. Mac Harvey played a important innings. Target of 140. You only need 2 batsmen to fire, and that'll be the victory. Edged through to third man, bit of a misfield, and the Renegades home comfortably by 5 wickets. They always looked in control of this match. The players and umpires shake hands. It was a really good bowling performance by the Renegades to restrict the Tigers to 140. O'Neill bowled well. Callum Stowe, 3 wickets to Hennig. He bowled really well. 3.4 overs to spare. Comfortable chase, anchored by opening batsman Blake McDonald and number 3 Mac Harvey. The Tigers, they've got some thinking to do. Both teams still have 3 matches to play in the round robin phase of this competition. They're both still in with a good chance of making the semis, but the Renegades, their chance is a bit better now because they've just secured their 3rd win. Really good all-round performance from the Renegades. Their fielding was good, bowling was good. 5 for 140 is the Renegades' final score, able to comfortably chase down Tasmania's 139. Never let the Tasmanians get away in the batting innings, with the exception of Tim Ward, who just didn't receive enough support. He scored 71 while all his teammates, well, they contributed about 69, 68 runs, so really good performance from the Renegades. As we look at that batting card, Blake McDonald up at the top, 54 off 35, really anchored that chase. It was a good innings, shots both sides of the wicket, making up for the early loss of Dixon. Mac Harvey played a really good, bright, punchy knock, 34 off 23. Marcus Harris, well, he was bowled by a bit of a shooter. He was unlucky. Sutherland didn't play his most fluent innings, but 11 not out. Xavier Crone promoted up the order, really swung for the hills and made a really good 27 off 14. Motored along at a run rate of 8.57. That was never going to be enough for the Tigers. As we look at their bowling card, Kieran Elliott, pick of the bowlers, 2 for 16. He bowled really well. Gabe Bell bowled well, 1 for 20. Raphael McMillan and Lachlan Clark, they both copped a bit of stick, as did Radhakrishnan, but he got that double strike in his 3rd over, which put the Tigers back in the contest. But for mine, I just think those overs from Elliott and Gabe Bell were just held back a bit too late. I think the Tigers missed a trick there. Melbourne Renegades emerge winners by 5 wickets. As we look to see some of the highlights, McMillan was brought on early, copped some stick, but that was Elliott falling fast at the stumps. Too much for Dixon. Radhakrishnan, well, his first 2 overs, very expensive, going for a combined 27 runs. McDonald and Mac Harvey, like the look of him. He was a bit unlucky at times, but when you're chasing 140, you only need one good partnership, and that partnership was between Mackenzie Harvey and Blake McDonald. They scored about 65 odd together. McMillan just struggled with his line, particularly today, just getting a bit too leg side, just allowing the batsman, and there's the first of Radhakrishnan's double strike. As we see here, Harris going on the back foot, just looking to nurdle it into the leg side, but it was a subterranean shooter and just didn't have much of a chance. But Xavier Crone was to come in and really take the Tigers to the cleaners. This was a really good catch to end Crone's innings. As we look at the standings now, well, the Renegades with their third win have actually gone to the top of the table, but of course the ACT Comets, who have 2 wins from 2 starts, well, they're in second place and they've got 3 to play. Net run rate also for the Renegades remains in the negatives. The NT Strike, well, they're going to be taking on the Melbourne Stars in about, let me see, their game should actually be starting just about now across town at DXC Arena at the Marara Sports Complex in Darwin. You'll be able to stream that live. Big couple of weeks of cricket. And just looking at tomorrow's games, I've got a 1 o'clock start. ACT taking on the Bangladesh High Performance, followed closely by the Scorchers and Strikers, and then the Renegades. They're going to play again against the Pakistan Shaheen. So another 3 games on tomorrow. Crowded calendar for top end cricket, and don't we love it? That'll be all for our broadcast from Kazales. Thank you for keeping us company today, and make sure to switch feeds and catch the NT Strike take on the Melbourne Stars across town at Darwin. That's starting now.
Cricket 365 is proudly supported by Airport Development Group, committed to aviation, tourism and infrastructure in the Northern Territory. Charles Darwin University. Connect, discover and grow in the Northern Territory. Tourism NT, different in every sense. Thrifty car and van rental, proudly driving Cricket 365. And Duke Cricket Balls, iconic, handmade and good for cricket.